Hey y'all, welcome back. It's Kyle with Inshore Edge. Today, this is going to split into two videos. And so this first one will be redfish. Now what happened, the reason I have two videos, I just had an awesome day, all packed in one. The intentions was to go out and fish for flounder. And when I'm flounder fishing, I'm always on the lookout for reds. And this day I found both. So in the interest of splitting this up into two videos, because I was actually able to teach for 2, 3, 4 hours on each different species and kind of on two distinct different patterns. And so this one will be reds. So follow along as I get on some really nice slot reds, 25 to 28 inch fish, caught 2.5 limits, a lot of good fast action, good fights, all on pretty good size swim baits. So enjoy. So I'm kind of going away just for a minute from what I was committing to. I was committing to the creek mouths on this outgoing tide and the points associated with them. But I just noticed in between here, I've got like just grass line with like some sort of rubble on it. I don't know if it's just shell. It's not big, but it's enough to kind of, you can feel it on the bottom and there's a fish. So I'm swimming with it. There he is. That's a big red. It's a nice red. Alright, he's big. It's a red though. Take it. It's fun. He smoked it. Felt good. It's a nice red. Maybe. Nice red. Get away from that trolling motor. It's fun of flounder fishing. There's reds involved. He's a good one. He's a good one. It's like sometimes they don't know they're hooked. Get that second wind. Back this way, buddy. Come back this way. It's pretty. It's a nice red. Really, that red pops in this tea-colored water. Gorgeous. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on. There we go. There we go, y'all. Look at this fish. Pretty red. 23, 24, 25. 25-inch fish right there. Look at that. Croaking up a storm. Beautiful red color. She's gonna go in the cooler for a little while. She's going in the live well. Maybe the cooler later. Kept any reds in a while. So we're gonna try to take this one to the grill. So I'm out there in a fight. That's what I had on. Green Pumpkin Disco, Crush City Mare, 4-inch, and that's what you did to it. I don't even know where it went. It's all good. Got more. Pros and cons of flounder fishing with these Crush City Mare swim baits. I've lost track of how many times you learn a lot about red fishing, because they quite often frequent the same areas and a redfish will crush a nice big swim bait. So you learn a lot. And sometimes those flounder trips turn into red fishing trips. First world problems, right? I'm not complaining. Let's keep it going. So these fish, that's 2 in a row. So you got like 1.5 feet of water up against the grass line, a bunch of rubble. And then as I come to the outside edge of that rubble, where it drops off into like 2, 3 feet, that's where I'm getting bit. So I'm sure these reds are kind of up on the rocks, on the outside edge of the rocks. But the ones that are eating are on that outside edge. All I'm doing is just kind of slowly lifting, letting that paddle tail swim. Occasionally I touch those rocks and that rubble. I'm just keeping it up. It's not very deep water, so I know I'm close to the bottom. That's the other thing. Keep your bait next to the bottom. And I really want to key in on this, y'all. This is a great example of using side scan and also understanding and feeling the bottom contours and substrate that you're fishing. So again, I've rubble up against this grass, but the fish are on the outside edge of the rubble, which ends up being about 10 yards off the grass, and about 2 to 3 feet is the sweet spot. That's 2 reds and a flounder all sitting off that rubble, not up against the grass line. There's still plenty of water over those rocks. I don't know why they're not up on it. But that's very common for fish to hang on the outside edges of rubble. And it's not a big strip of rubble. It's literally about 10 yards off to the grass line. And it goes right into mud. But that is a pattern that's presenting itself, and I'm trying to lock in on it. Notice I'm not even casting up towards the grass line anymore. I'm throwing up onto the rocks a little bit. I feel them, and then I just feel for the edge, and then I slow down. And this is all hidden. You can't see these rocks unless you have side scan, or you can feel them, or unless you know this area. I didn't know they were here, so I used my side scan, and then just through working areas, I was able to figure it out. Working my way against the current. That's another key point. Current's coming over these rocks towards me. I'm casting up into the current and bringing the lure back with the current. Very natural presentation. And I'm trying to parallel it. I'm not far from the outside edge of these rocks. I'm casting up and bringing it back down the edge versus casting perpendicular in. I get better coverage. I get the bait and strike zone longer. When the strike zone is an edge, a long edge, whatever the structure is, whether it's a grass line, rock line, riprap, reef, keep the bait in the strike zone, and the way to do that is parallel. Parallel, cast far up into the strike zone, bring it back with the strike zone, versus casting perpendicular in and out of the strike zone real briefly. There it is. That's a red. I just hit it while I was messing around with the fish finder. I don't know how good I got him hooked, but I just hit it as soon as it hits the water. Golly. That's a good red. That's a good red. Get out of those rocks, boy. That's a good red. Strong. Strong. Come on out of here. There we go. Come on. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. A little action for you. I'm going to zoom in on that. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Another nice 25, 26 inch red. Good fish, huh? .26-inch fish. Crush City, Green Pumpkin Disco Mare, 4-inch. Reds love it. Catch a lot of reds on it. So typically you're not going to have reds, there's a fish, flat out chasing mullet. But what you can see is a lot of mullet on that grass line that are nervous. They'll come up to the surface, they'll skitter. They're not being chased, they're just really nervous. And the giveaway, that's a giveaway for the reds that are swimming underneath them. Those reds are probably chewing it up in there, eating shrimp, crab, that kind of thing. But nevertheless, that's a big old fish around those mullet. And they get nervous, and they still give it away. Give away their location. That's what I'm talking about, location. So it's my cue to move out from the outside of the rocks to the inside to the grass line, based off what I'm seeing. And it's all kind of close, so I can make these casts. Love fishing the marsh just for this reason. It's a puzzle. Man, it can leave you puzzled, literally not knowing what's going on the first hour. Make a little adjustment, pick up on a little pattern, and then boom, you're in it. Phenomenal fishing. It's kind of the tricky part when everything is fishy. Everything looks good. Everything has potential. You just got to figure out where those fish want to be on that day, what they're doing. Oh gosh, that's a nice red. That's a nice red right there. He took off. Holy smokes. We gotta go get him, boys. That's a big fish. That's a big fish. Goodness gracious. Ooh, that's a big fish. That might be a black drum, I don't know. That is a big old red. God, he took off. It feels like he might be snagged on something. Oh, he broke me off. He got me wrapped around a crab trap or some rocks or something. It's a big disadvantage there. So, frayed my line really good on that rock and rubble that they're on. And so him hitting it and just freight training, he took, I don't know, 40 yards off just like that. And so what happens when you get further and further away from a fish, it's in shallow water, let alone over rock and rubble, your line, the angle gets basically more shallow. And that line now starts rubbing on those rocks. And so I'm trying to get on the trolling motor to go after him. You know, I wasn't taking too long, but it just happened so fast. And then so what happens is that line gets on those rocks and he breaks you off. You know, is what it is. Not a big deal, it's part of the game. It's either, I think that was a real big, like a bull red. He was so fast. Black drum are strong, but not that fast usually. So I think it's a bull red. All you can do is tip your hat to them. I don't keep reds that big anyways, even if they're over our slot. Now you got to check your line. Make sure it's not all frayed up. So it was good. It was just that end piece there. I've talked about it before, but I'll show you again since I'm retying here after big old bull red owned me. I like to use, for these Crush City Mare swim baits, I like to use the Guggenbait weighted dart hook. Guggenbait's weighted dart hook. Almost always on sale. They always got a sale going on if you join their email list. Super sharp hooks. They're made by Hayabusa, which is a high-end brand. The thing is, I like to switch out. I like to switch out to the Owner CPS centering pin spring. It holds these mares much better than the spring that comes with these baits. So I switched that out, and it's super easy to do. You can kind of see the difference here. That's the centering pin. It's got a little pin between the springs there, holds it much better, and this is just kind of an off, little generic spring. So I just pop that spring off. Comes off real easy, typically. Throw that away. And then that centering pin, you just spin right on. It's that quick. Boom. Just take that centering pin, take your bait. Another thing about Crush City Mares, they got a little fat nose. It's a real good target. Just push that pin in and kind of push and twist right up. All the way up. You want it to basically hang so level, parallel to your hook, and that's even. And then you kind of run your hook right up to that belly slot. They've actually got a little slot on their back too, so I don't even have to bury that hook. I just bring it up through, pop it through, and it lays. Look at this. See that? And I push down. So it's ready to penetrate. It's not in the plastic. It is, the body of it is, but the point is not. So that fish bites down, boom, exposed. That's what you want. There he is. Might be a decent fish, whatever it is. Damn. Okay. Okay. Come on back. Come on back. Damn. It's gotta be a red. Couldn't get bit on the swim bait, but as soon as I threw that straight tail on there, little red. Go figure. There we go. Not a monster. That's why I don't like to redfish with medium light spinning rod. So I'm bumping up just for a little bit to a bigger 5-inch swim bait. Kitech Easy Shiner. A 6/0 wide gap. And this I'm just gonna slow roll. I'm not gonna hop this. This best action is kind of just real tight tail action. Just like I got, looks like a mullet cruising across this. There he is, just like that. That's a big old red. Just like that, y'all. Big red smoked it. Just looked like a mullet cruising across the rocks, and he was laid up, he couldn't resist. Big old red. This one I'm going after fast. I'm keeping that rod tip up, keep that line off those rocks. He abused me last time. So I got that trolling motor in higher gear. I'm gonna keep that line angle up. Got him on a heavy action rod, so a little bit more control. Keep him out of those rocks. Get him away from the rocks, and then I can play him out. So he's coming away from the rocks. That's what I want. Now he wants to get near the boat, of course. So what I did here was, when I know there's big reds in there, I was talking about it earlier, I love to throw a big swim bait. And they love it too. Nice red, nice slot red. 25, 26 inch fish. Ah. Whew. Wear your forearm out. Nice red, nice slot. That easy shiner. See that swim bait in his mouth? Slow though, you just kind of slow roll it. These reds are sitting right on these rocks in like 2-3 feet of water. And you just kind of roll it right across and just, I mean, you heard me. First cast, boom, just crushed it. And he wasn't hitting that little 4-inch mirror. So sometimes you just throw him a little bit bigger pattern, something easy, slow, and crush it. 24-inch fish, pretty. One of my favorite in shallow water is the caveat. Effective ways to catch good size slot reds. Granted, like everything when you find them. In shallow water and flats, and in this case a little bit of rubble structure, is a big 5 to 6 inch swim bait. You see me talk about trout fishing a lot with these, but it's equally as effective with reds, especially you just kind of slow swim it, not twitching that pop, and just slow swim over them. They just crush it. It's slow enough to where they don't have to chase it. Reds are kind of more feeding down. I mean, they can obviously eat bait fish and things like that, but I find out I get a much more aggressive, a much more willing bite when I just keep it slow, not burn it or anything like that. Very effective. And fun. Fun way to fish for them. You are targeting bigger fish when you do this. I like to have a heavy action rod. This is a 7'1" heavy Daiwa Tutula bait cast. 20-pound fluoro, 40-pound braid. You don't have to have the heavy action rod, but you get more fish to the boat. Reds still give an awesome fight, so you're not missing out on a great fight. You just ultimately have better control, and you can throw bigger lures with control. These fish aren't as aggressive. They're not up chasing around the marsh grass anymore. They're just kind of laying in the rocks. So I'm just kind of bringing this swim bait right over the top of them, within a foot, keeping it, it's real shallow, these rocks, especially as the water's dropping. There he is. That's a good red. That's a good red. Boy, I tell you, man, I get that thump. Boom. He's getting up in it now. He's getting up in it. Come on out of there. Come on out of there. Come on out of there. Big swim bait, y'all. I love it. Even when the bite's kind of dying, they still eat it. Woo! Forearm. Oh, where are you out catching these boys? I think this is it for this show. Do something a little bit more nice on the forearms, like flounder fishing. Golly. A nice 25, 26-inch fish. Just kind of emphasize why I love swim baits for reds. Often they're not feeding, they're just sitting there. In this case, they're sitting on this structure. And I can tell the difference from earlier. Earlier, much more active, bait being chased. You could see them rolling around in here. Now it's just silence, but I can still see them on side scan. I can still see that they're laying in these rocks. And when I bring that swim bait near them, slow roll near them, just sticking those rocks, it's just thumping. They're not gonna pass up on it. It's an easy opportunity for a relatively good size meal. And when you can get fish to eat that aren't otherwise actively feeding, that's when you know you got a good lure and a good technique. There he is. There he is. It's a nice red. That's another good one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oof. Wore me out, that's for sure. Pretty red. She is, let's see what she is. 23, 24, 25, 20, 26 inches. Another one on that Ki-Tagged Easy Shiner, 7/0, or 6/0 I should say. All right, y'all, as always, as a recap, so lots of reds, lots of good redfish. Always love getting into big slot reds. I mean, they're bulldozers. The fight is so incredible. It leaves your forearm sore. No need to work out biceps for the next few days. So my redfish came on, again, we're in our coastal marshes. I found some areas that actually had some man-made rubble. Real small rubble, maybe the size of baseball, softballs, kind of off a marsh line. And I had good current on an outgoing tide going through that, and you've heard me talk about that at this point in that video. And so that basically just held a lot of nice redfish just in there, probably eating crabs, shrimp, a lot of mullet around. And so the approach I used two different approaches. I found them throwing the Rapala Crush City Mare, so a little 4-inch swim bait on a wide gap. I fished for reds and flounder with this, so just a fantastic search bait. You've heard me talk about that. I'll link all that in the details. But then what I've always liked to do when I find good sized reds, especially up shallow, I like to switch to bigger swim baits and a little bit heavier gear. Like to kind of even the battle, so to speak. So heavy rods, bigger swim baits, because big redfish love big swim baits. Now, big is relative. This is a 5-inch Ki-Tagged Easy Shiner. I believe that's smallmouth magic color on a weighted wide gap. That's only an 1/8 ounce weighted wide gap. So that's a 5-inch bait, so that's a 6/0 wide gap. The reason I like Ki-Tagged, it's got a real tight tail action, but as you can see, it doesn't have bulky plastic. And so I get really good hook sets when I'm fishing for whatever I'm fishing for, trout, reds, or flounder on this. Because when that hook pops out, you can see you get a lot of hook to bend, to basically penetrate that fish's mouth. And so basically just love to slow roll that. Once you identify where the reds were, which I was able to do with side scan, and actually kind of seeing nervous mullet getting, kind of basically not chased, but just around, you could tell they're around big fish. You just slow roll that in there, and it's just a matter of time till you kind of reel it over the top of a red. And so I was trying to tick these rocks in about 2-3 feet of water, and as you'll see in the video, as you saw in the video, they just smoke it. So a lot of exciting drag pulling action. Really glad I was able to show you guys that, come across those reds. If you have any questions, please feel free to do so. Ask as many questions as you would like in the comments. Please subscribe to YouTube, my YouTube channel, the Inshore Edge. same name on Facebook. Please follow the Inshore Edge. I'll link these baits, these swim baits, down in the comments. And again, we appreciate you coming along, and hopefully you're able to learn something to then go and do exactly the same thing, because that is my goal for you. It's the whole reason I do this, is to try to teach and tell you what I know and what I'm learning in order for you to get on it and have just as much fun as I did. All right, appreciate it. This has been Kyle with Inshore Edge.